Notice, 1. The case is need you to, according to the manual, to install it carefully by yourself. 2. Some acrylic panels are one-off designs. Please consider and then install. 3. Motherboard is AXT structure. Size need to be within 305 by 244 millimeters. 4. Do regular scheduled maintenance on your acrylic panels. It will keep original bright for a long time after tear the film. What the f have I just gotten myself into? What's up everyone, Eric here and welcome to Hardware for Gamers. In this video, we'll be taking a look at an open air chassis. Now I picked this up on Amazon, where these cases are sold under a few different names. There are also a few different models to choose from. We'll be taking a look at the PC-JMK5 Cool 5, which is the tower style one. Since this is just an open frame, I've decided not to do any temperature testing, since all I would really be doing is just testing the hardware of the system and not the case, or the frame in this case. And just so you understand, this isn't a standard PC building experience. What I mean by that is you're going to be assembling the frame yourself. It comes in a little brown box with a whole lot of screws and fittings. Now I think most people would want to be using this as a test bench of some sort, but it is definitely possible to use this as a daily system. As I just said, you'll need to assemble it yourself. It took me about 70-ish minutes to put the frame together. The only tools you'll need is a Phillips 2 screwdriver, along with the provided Allen key. You will need to follow the included instructions quite carefully, which I must say are horrible, so good luck with that. But once you do have the frame set up, it does feel sturdy. Now installing a system on the frame is pretty easy, but if you are following the instructions, you will need to realize that there is a certain order of installation that you'll need to follow. Now I'm primarily referring to the installation of the SSD and hard drive. If you follow the instructions, you won't be able to install or remove the SSD once you have the hard drive installed. There's also a similar issue installing or removing the hard drive, but this time it's the power supply that will be getting in the way. Now I did find a way to circumvent this by moving the angles around. When it comes to installing a motherboard, it is a little bit more annoying than it probably should be, and that's primarily because of the standoffs not being in a fixed location. Now being able to move the standoffs around does give you the benefit of being able to install non-standard motherboards on the frame, but if you're only planning on installing standard motherboards, you are still stuck fidgeting with the standoffs. Speaking of installing different motherboards, if you are switching between an ATX and a micro ATX motherboard, you will need to move the bottom bar to suit the standoffs of the motherboard. Now for the power supply mount, it works pretty well. It holds the power supply in place. Don't really know what else to really say about it. It works. It does a good enough job. Taking a look at the expansion slot plate, it can be easily adjusted. Now most people would likely only be doing this once, but if you are somebody who switches out the motherboards a lot, and some of those motherboards are not standard, it only takes a few seconds to align it with the PCIe slots. A mini ITX expansion slot plate is also provided, which can also double as being a vertical GPU mount. Now there is no PCIe riser included, so you'll need to go buy that separately. Now for the acrylic plate on the front, it can support two 120mm fans. Now the instructions do recommend installing the fans before installing the motherboard, but it is possible to remove the acrylic plate and then install the fans. Once you have the fans installed, you can then reinstall the acrylic plate. Now if you have the acrylic plate set up to be like a front intake, there'll be up to 280mm for a GPU. Now to allow for a longer GPU, you can switch the side on which you have the acrylic plate fastened to. But by doing this, the fans will no longer be blowing over the motherboard, which could cause the VRM and M.2 temperatures to increase. The acrylic plate can also hold a 240mm radiator, as well as a resin pump combo, which makes this little test bench a really cool platform to try out custom water cooling. There is also a small little acrylic piece to hold the power button. The power button does have a red LED to let you know when the system is on. So what do I think of the Cool 5? Actually, it's pretty cool. I do like it a lot. Now I'm actually going to be using this as a dedicated test bench for my CPU cooling testing, which I've almost finished my testing methodology stuff, but not quite yet. Now this Cool 5 open frame chassis thing is really customizable, yet still really compact, which for my use case is perfect. Now the one thing I wish it had was 2 more feet along the top. So when you install a motherboard, you can lie down the whole test bench and it's completely sturdy. Now the way it is right now isn't too bad, but if it had the 2 extra feet, it would be really nice. Now I can also see people using this, or something like this anyways, for their main system. The whole industrial look looks really cool. Well, it does to me anyways. And the minimalism of the whole thing is something that I think a lot of people would really like. Well, that's all I got for this one. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're still watching, please hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you get notified whenever I drop a new video. Please follow me on Twitter at HFG_YT. I also have a Discord server. It's a great place to get technical help if you need anything. And as always, thank you for watching and see you next time.